Do you want like my dirt? Do you want like my dirt? Because I'll tell my dirt. I mean,
yeah. Go for it if you're happy to tell it.
When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. But now that I'm grown, I see so much more. No longer a poor reflection. What I see in part, I will see unfold. When the perfect comes, imperfection fades away. What I see in part, I will see unfold. When the perfect comes, imperfection fades away.
My name is Daniel Widdowson. I have a fractured spine, a broken ankle, a scar on the back of my brain, and a cyst in my scrotum. And I'm going to live the life of a bodybuilder for 3 months. Oh, wow. Yep, it's good. The physical culture of bodybuilding has been popular for years upon years, long before the invention of competitive bodybuilding as we know it today. Followers of the sport would know that bodybuilding in its popular form essentially began in the 1890s with the arrival of Mr. Eugene Sandow. He's the bloke the Mr. Olympia statuette is modelled after. Bodybuilding was hitting new heights in the 1970s. And how could it not with the likes of this guy, Mr. Frank Zane, Mr. Olympia 1977, 1978 and 1979. But then of course there was the great Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Olympia 1970 through to 75, then for good measure he did it again in 1980. Schwarzenegger, well his profile at least, took the world of bodybuilding to a whole new level.
It's a cult and it's a really obscure sport. There's only so many people are going to pay money to see guys in their jocks posing.
But some don't even wear jocks. Like this man, Con Demetrio, one of Australia's finest and 6 times Mr. Australia, including Teenage Mr. Australia, Heavyweight Mr. Australia, Super Heavyweight Mr. Australia, and Elite Mr. Australia. Before starting this 3-month journey, I thought it wise to get some advice from the best. Just one problem. Con lives in New York. It's about 7 a.m. on a Friday morning. We're going to call Con, who's in New York. He's just finished a training session, and we've come down to the wharf because my house is hectic with little children running around eating rice bubbles. Here we go. Con, how you going?
Thanks for doing this, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure, Dan.
So it's 7 a.m.
Friday morning here, and I think if I'm right, it's 5 p.m. Thursday over there.
That's right, it's a beautiful day here in New York, nice and sunny.
Oh, really? I'm freezing cold standing on a wharf.
When I first tried to get in contact with you, I assumed that you lived in Australia still.
Yeah.
I think you were in Venice first time I called, and then you said you'd be in New York today. So where are you based now? What's life like for you?
Well, one of my other passions, apart from bodybuilding, is travelling. So I usually stay in one place for maximum of 3 months, and then I pack my bags and move on to the next place. So I'm actually very happy with my lifestyle at the moment because I'm doing the two things that I enjoy the most, and that's bodybuilding and travelling. And after New York, I guess I'll be heading off to Florida, I think.
Now, you said you had 10 years off. Why was that? Why the break?
Well, I started bodybuilding when I was 15, and there was a lot of things that I sacrificed, and I didn't get to experience from the age of 15 to 23. So I decided that I wanted to have a break and just live a normal lifestyle and start a business and just do the things that I missed out on.
Heaps of people have mentioned the sacrifices involved. So what kind of things did you have to sacrifice to be at such an elite level?
Well, I sacrificed a lot of things now that I look back on it, and I actually, now that I'm older and wiser, I realise that it actually wasn't necessary, and it's actually better when you live a more balanced lifestyle. And I guess I'm a person of extremes, and I took things to the extreme, but if I had the chance to do it again, I'd have a more balanced lifestyle, and I'm sure that I'd actually achieve the same results, if not better.
For anyone thinking they might undertake bodybuilding, what would be your advice to them?
Well, depends how far they'd like to take it. If they want to take it to the extreme of competing, I'd definitely find someone who's been there before and competed, and learn from them, learn from their experience. It'll save a lot of money and a lot of time.
So it sounds like I need a real professional in my corner. But that's okay, because I have the perfect person in mind. One of Australia's most experienced naturopaths, professional PT, and owner of Go Vita Erin Affair, Shannon Brenton. Now sure, he's a busy guy with a busy schedule, but he's definitely worth asking.
To begin with, mate, it's all consuming, so you'll have to live the life you're living now, obviously. So there'll be work, there'll be family, there's family commitment. There's times like this. If you want to train, we'll be training probably 5 days a week. Those times need to be set, which means you need to be committed to being at the gym when I tell you to be at the gym. The amount of effort you've got to put into your food, the nutrient timing, timing of meals generally. Really, really very, very important. You need to know what you're doing, and this is where you wouldn't be able to do it on your own. Training with someone who knows how to train is vital. But the commitment level is full on, mate, and that's the sort of thing that, if you say you're up for it, you're up for it. You've got everything you've got, come on. But once you start, if you give me the word, it's on, and there's no excuses. When we train, we train. When I say to eat, we eat, and it just needs to be done the way it's going to be done. Good man. This is ultimate recovery stuff. Cameras aside, I need to know that you're dedicated. So if you're willing to put the hard yards in, I might be willing to put the energy into you. But it takes a lot of energy, Dan, and really for me, it's like having another child for 3 months. If you get sick, I'm worried. Look, I believe it's doable, Dan. I just don't know if you're up for the challenge.
So that's the question. Am I up for the challenge? Sure. How hard could it be? Shannon's 2IC for this project is strongman trainer and founder of Central Coast Barbell, Luke Price.
Everyone, all different sports can rely on strength and conditioning and have strength and conditioning like workouts and circuits, from cage fighting to cricket to tennis to swimming. All these athletes rely on and should rely on a strength and conditioning coach to help them out. I have Ben Hansen, who's the current tougher under 65 kilo champion. My style of training is I like to do power first and strength first, and then I do a little bit of bodybuilding after that so that I look semi-decent. I really think you get bitten by the bug, and you enjoy the way it feels, and you enjoy the training, and you enjoy the results that you get from training, and it takes over. A lot of people that train in the gym and train bodybuilding have started off in another sport, and a lot of guys start off training in the gym because they want to get better at that sport, but the bug kicks in and then they just forget the other sport and start training specifically for bodybuilding or strength or whatever it is they want to do.
I still want to speak to one more person before getting underway, and that's the massive bloke I did the initial photo shoot with, professional bodybuilder Ivan Sadek.
I used to play rugby league, and I had a little bit of an injury playing rugby league, and that's when I got into weight training to strengthen up my lower back, because I injured my back while I was playing rugby league, and I found it pretty cool because I started developing muscles and stuff, so that's how I got into it, yeah.
And how long would you say it took you to get from wherever you were to this monstrous human being that you are now?
Well, I am 36 years of age. I just turned 36, so
okay.
I've been at it for a couple of years now. But yeah, every year we do improve as long as you stick to it, and and you're dedicated and you put the hard work in, you will get the results. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm really interested how you're going to look. I reckon with the right people behind you and the dedication, you will get remarkable results. I'm looking forward to see how you turn up.
We can do a photo shoot at the end again.
Why not?
See if I can get some of these.
Why not? Why not?
If people want to compete in bodybuilding, that's an extreme. There's a component of gym and exercise, but it's more about what you do outside of the gym that relates to whether you're going to be a successful bodybuilder.
So I've been getting different bodybuilding mags, and I've been seeing the guys, like the front covers, they're massive, they're holding chains like this.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm going to look like? Am I going to have one of these huge bodies?
No.
Okay. In
a word, mate, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Look, with bodybuilding, there's bodybuilding. The IFBB pros that you were looking at take various illicit substances that you won't be on. The objective, the way we're going to train is obviously to make this as healthy as possible without using any hormonal modifiers.
You hear some horrible things. You hear some, people getting heart diseases and liver diseases and certain things shrinking and What's going to happen to what are the negative side effects that will happen to my body?
All those things you're speaking about are what we call iatrogenic disease causes, and they're all second to steroid use.
Okay.
So as far as shrinkage, as you put it, goes, and heart disease and these sorts of things goes, that's not where you're going. It's not the premise of what we're doing. My aim for you is obviously to make you look better than you look now, so drop some body fat, put some lean muscle mass on, basically make you look better than you do now. To be honest with you, anyone that walks into a gym, lifts up a weight's a bodybuilder. I think bodybuilder is a term which is overused. People always think that bodybuilders, must compete or, must take steroids or whatever it may be. Anyone who has, an appetite for wanting to improve their physique, to drop body fat, to put on muscle mass, and are willing to train 4, 5, 6 days a week in order to do so and diet correctly, is typically classified as a bodybuilder. I'll take you to a professional exercise physiologist who he's got absolutely no involvement in the study. He doesn't care whether you get good results or not, so he'll just do the testing and once again just keeps it as valid as possible.
So for a series of tests, we went down to Kinetic Energy and I met exercise physiologist Chris Comerford. So let's look at the before stats. Coming into this test, my blood pressure is 145/89 and I weigh 83.8 kilograms. My upper body mobility test was a simple pass or fail, and I failed. I also failed the hip, knee and ankle mobility test. This could have something to do with my fractured spine or broken ankle. I did, however, pass the inline lunge, but then I failed the straight leg raise, getting nowhere near a 90-degree angle. But then we move on to the good stuff. The power tests. My stationary vertical jump is 57 centimetres. My 1 rep max bench press was a 95 kilogram lift. However, the 1 rep max squat is too dangerous to attempt due to my injuries and because I had poor results on the mobility tests. In the muscular endurance bench press, I lift 37.5 kilograms for 41 repetitions and reach 47 repetitions in the muscular endurance partial curl. But it's not over. Shannon also wants to run a few tests and hold a preliminary training session down at the gym. The purpose of this is to develop my diet and training program.
This has got an a bioimpedance analysis, and what it does is we run a specific microcurrent between these 4 points, and it measures number one, the rate at which the microcurrent moves between those points, and number two, the kind of matter it comes in contact with. So it differentiates, fat, fluid, muscle.
Am I going to get electrocuted?
Just a little bit. So Dan, these are your supplements that I've chosen for you that you'll be taking daily. This is pretty much a stack of what you'll be using in the course of a month. I've worked out, roughly, depending on what you buy, of course, you're looking at around about $535 in total cost here for the products, most of which will be turned over the course of a month, with the exception of a few here. When you're looking at bodybuilding here, diet is optimal. Diet is at least 85 to 90% of your results. It's vital that you're number one, the macronutrient ratios we work out for your diet are spot on, and more importantly, number two, that the nutrient timing of these products are applied principally to make sure your body's got what it needs when it needs it. I've picked what I believe are some of the best products on the market. Certainly the products I've got the most faith in. Products here are number one, completely compliant with FSANZ, the Food and Drug Administration of Australia and New Zealand, and compliant with the Therapeutic Goods Administrations. This is all legal, safe, tested product. There is absolutely no side effects from these products, as the blood tests will show at the end, and the parameters we test obviously will show that these things are certainly safe and effective for you. Very high majority of this I actually don't even consider to be supplementation. It's more food. Most of your protein powders are food, and your body will be in such a sort of a required state for protein that really, if we don't take this route and use some protein supplementation, we're going to have to lift up the amount of protein you derive mostly from animal products in your case, because you're not a massive fan of the vegetarian options.
Not really.
And all that's going to do is drag the saturated fat levels up and whatnot. So this is really the safest, most effective way to get the protein you require.
I want you to do me just one favour. I want you to look right at the camera and say, I can eat whatever I want for dinner tonight.
Dan can have whatever he likes for the rest of this week.
Fantastic. Thank you, Shannon. Cheers, man.
Good one.
Hi, how you going?
Good. Was it just the dinner bus?
Yes, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
That's okay.
You too. Yes. Yes. Shannon will be eating his mung beans and protein shakes tonight, but not me. Whilst eager and very excited on day one, I'm well aware that being committed to my training and diet is going to significantly reduce my family time. Being a dedicated father and husband over the next 12 weeks is going to be tough.
It's a very tough sport to make it to the top, and when you look at our population compared, say, to the population of America, it's probably on par. It's just there's a lot more people over there bodybuilding, therefore the people at the top end of the gene pool tend to be attracted to a sport like bodybuilding, and when you've got a huge population, you get a huge support system and people competing. So I think we stack up very well when we find someone good, but it's just such a genetically predisposed sport that you've really got to be in that top echelon of genetics to make it in bodybuilding. So with our population, compared to, say, the USA, I think we stack up very, very well. And our good pros are world beaters.
Meet Rosa Maria Romero. She's one of Australia's elite professional bodybuilders. Many would argue Australia's best. We tracked down Rosa Maria at the Olympia in Las Vegas, where she shared her perspective on competitive bodybuilding and family life.
And how was that? What about family and friends when you told them that, I'm going to compete in sport? Was that a bit of a spin out?
I think everyone was kind of shocked because I was a professional dancer for so long, and it's just like the complete opposite, it's like no one else together. So, but they're very, very supportive. There were times where it got tough because I was constantly travelling. But, in the end, it's all paid off. It's a journey that I started to embark on, and I said, as soon as I get to Olympia, that's it for me. I've reached where I wanted to go to. It's what I wanted to do, and I just want to be able to wake up in the morning and have some pancakes now for a change.
Good.
Just spend a little bit more time with my kids that are, they're growing up. So doing 10 journeys a day, and I've done a lot of travelling. I still do a lot of travelling because I'm a flight attendant. So just alone with that, that's enough for me.
So I've got a challenge for Dan. We both grow hideous red beards, and so we're going to have a beard off. We're going to see who can withhold the longest and stop shaving for the longest amount of time. Whoever holds off gets to put the loser through a superset. The superset in general is just any like variation of exercises put together. So you might do bench press and hop straight up and do some dumbbell curls for your arms. Good man, that's good. Come on. Good. Nice. That's it.
You live the bodybuilding lifestyle 24/7, and it takes a long time to perfect. So you serve an apprenticeship, just like in any other area of life. You need to hone your skills through your personal connections, the people that you know via the internet, via your local contacts. But so bodybuilding competition is an extreme of what you do in the gym and the way you live.
Time to meet Jen Hendershot. She is an absolute living legend in the bodybuilding world. And she is 2 times Ms. Olympia.
I came into the industry, I had 3 goals. I wanted to win the Arnold, win the Olympia, and be on the cover of Oxygen magazine. And I accomplished those all in 2005. Something clicked for me one day. It was just like, you know what, I can do this again. Why not just try it one more time? So winning the 2008 Olympia was a complete shock, because my goal was to win the 2009 Arnold and then win the 2009 Olympia, which had been last year. But I walked in the 2008 Olympia thinking, okay, I'll just get top 3 and then I'll go win the Arnold. Well, I ended up winning. I'm like, wait a minute, this really messed up my plan? Oh no, this isn't happening. So then, because what that does is it puts a lot of pressure on you when you walk into an Arnold Classic. And so then I'm like, oh no, this isn't what I was prepared for, oh my gosh. And so the pressure is really, really deep. So then I win the Arnold and I'm like, that's it. I always want to walk away on top. I'm gonna walk away on top. The one show that stands out the most is the 2005 Olympia, because after the 2005 Arnold Classic, I won that show. My husband took a new job. We were in the process of moving we had just bought a house. So we're in the process of moving in July. The Olympia is in October. So I have like 3 months to prepare for this event. And I start dieting. I can't figure out why the weight's not coming off. And we're flying back and forth to see each other, my husband and I, and trying to sell a house, buy a house, pack and move. And in the midst of doing this, I find out that I was pregnant. And in the midst of finding out I was pregnant, before I even knew I was pregnant, I actually had a miscarriage. When I won that show, no one on that stage, and except in the audience, my family, my friends, because none of the press knew. I didn't tell anybody in the magazines, nobody. I kept it very, very private. Because that was something my husband and I had to deal with on our own. When winning that, it was so bittersweet after going through that experience. And then walking in, working my ass off, literally working my ass off to the point that I had to prove to myself that I could recover from something like that, not only physically, but emotionally. And so winning that was like, I stood there and I'm like, oh my God, I just did it. Like, this is awesome. And so no one knew how amazing that was for me, but that's why that was so amazing.
Meet Brad Dunn, aka the Wolverine, former bodybuilder, now professional strongman.
Sort of like having the right support team behind you, whether it be my wife or my training partners, but in this case, having what I think and believe as the right supplement company behind me and the right people, behind me. Brian Andrews, Flex Wheeler, all the guys over at All American EFX, they've definitely taken a stance in the supplement industry through having quality product and supporting guys who do train and compete drug-free. And so that's been a big thing for me. Supplement-wise, I've been taking their stuff since the middle of summer, and I'm telling you, I think that's the reason I've made it. Being, at a light body weight in comparison to a lot of the other athletes, I think, the competitions kind of wear on me maybe a little more than like the bigger guys. Yeah, as far as like supplements, as far as what they are and what you should be taking, I'm still a big believer in a good creatine product. Glutamine, absolutely, for recovery.
This is a business. This is what I tell people all the time. This is not the Olympia. This is not the Arnold Classic. It is a business for everyone, including myself as a competitor. You go to these events to compete. But at the end of the day, there are sponsorships involved and there are friendships. The hardest thing for me to learn was that. It took me a long time to learn that. And then I think accepting it was very difficult for me because I really feel like we live in this really awesome world where everybody's honest and everybody's nice and no one's going to stab you in the back. And at the end of the day, it's complete shit. That's not true.
I mean, I'm competing, at a good 20 pounds less body weight than I was competing at last year. And I see absolutely no drop in my strength levels. Right. And I really, from a mental standpoint, I was kind of like, man, when is the bottom going to drop out? When is my 400-pound log only going to be a 360 log? Well, it's all still there, and I'm feeling better. My joints are feeling better.
Without getting too into the story and naming names, I just got tired of dealing with companies I felt about having customers' best interests.
So supplements, are they good or bad? I didn't really get a straight answer. However, it seems essential that you trust your product. And Shannon, being a naturopath, well, I'll have whatever he gives me.
Good, that's perfect. Push! 2, nice. When you started out, they said 95 kilos was your 1 rep max, yeah? Yeah. That's 100 kilos for what? That's 100 kilos. All right.
Get off your ass and do it. It does not come in a pill. It does not come in a machine. It does not come in a protein powder. Okay? It comes with determination, hard work, patience, and drive. And if you have those things, you can do anything you want in the whole world.
But what happens if something throws you out of whack? For example, what if you get sick? It's week 4 and Shannon wants me tested for sleep apnea.
This is my sleep apnea test. I'm staying at a very classy hotel, as you can tell. And a bloke called Vince has dropped this off to me, so I'll show you what it looks like if you come around here. I have this machine, which has 3 parts to it. This part, which is going to go up my nose. This is going to go around my chest and this gets strapped to my fingers. Well, I can't move it once I set it up, so if I need to go to the toilet during the night, I've got my shaker. I've got my phone set up, water here, all my vitamins for the morning. I feel like an old man. And this one goes. The last thing I have to do is take this medicine. Oh, yuck. You probably get out of You can have an occasional beer, you can have your wine, you can enjoy life, you can have a couple free meals a week. If you want General Tso's chicken or Sal's Joe, however they pronounce it, get the damn chicken. If you want a pizza, get the pizza. But 80% of the time, eat clean, eat healthy, eat good. You know, and then you look at the pros. I get to perform better, I get to work better, I get to feel better, my stomach won't feel like it's in a knot, my digestive system will work better. You know, I'll set a good example for my children, I'll set a good example for the next generation. I might even change a life here or there. So when you outweigh the negatives by that much, how can people, I get upset in Vegas especially, watching the waistlines of people and say, how can you go through life not seeing your private parts?
So today's a pretty big day. I did the sleep apnea test last week, and Shannon, I don't know how serious he is, but he's saying that if I do have it, then we may have to call off the doco or get another applicant. I don't know if he's being over the top, but either way, we'll get the results now. Shannon will read them, and if he's happy with the result, we'll keep going. If I do have sleep apnea, you know, we'll see what happens. So, to the chemist.
It's good news for you, mate.
I hope so. Thanks for doing that.
Anytime. I'll see you, mate.
It's all on there. We'll take it over to Shannon.
Hey guys, how are
And he'll have a read. How are you going?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. I have
What's
the
this?
results of sleep apnea.
Oh, excellent.
Before you read it, let's just... You're saying the results of this are pretty big. If I have sleep apnea,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
It depends on the kind of sleep apnea. If it's obstructive, it's probably no big deal. If it's not, it can be a major blow. And given your bloods originally, it can mean a bit of an issue to us as far as putting muscle on.
Okay.
So, here we go. No sleep apnea.
No sleep apnea?
No.
I'm good.
Excellent.
What do they say?
It says that they recorded a high degree of snoring.
That's Lee's problem.
Which has caused some minor blood oxygen saturation dramas, but your blood oxygen didn't drop lower than 96%.
Okay, great.
So in sleep apnea, it's going to be significantly lower than that. So that's all good.
Okay.
Very good. No
Good
problems
stuff.
at all.
Okay, so put it behind us. Move on.
Absolutely. Move forward. Let's go and train.
This is Pedro Virgil, a world-class photographer. His clients include Ed Hardy, Calvin Klein, Sony Ericsson, Rolex, Telstra, Cosmo, Men's Workout, Men's Exercise, Clio, and a whole lot more. He works with bodybuilders and fitness models day in and day out.
It's like anything. It's like a high-profile sport. You've got to have discipline if you want to look that certain way. And for models who make it their main way of making a living, you know, it's a discipline. They've got to make sure that they fit that criteria to get booked for the jobs. Much the same way a sprinter would have to maintain, you know, speed, or a bodybuilder be able to lift above a certain weight. It's that sort of level of discipline. So it is difficult, because if you fall below the threshold of being classified as perfect, it naturally affects your self-esteem. One of my books that I'm working on, it's all guys who play action heroes, and the casting process for this, I've wanted very athletic guys who look physically very strong, who are very ripped, cut up, you know, and look very muscular. This girl that I know, a good friend of mine, she wanted me to introduce her to one of my friends, one of the guys I photographed, because she thought he was perfect, so to speak. And she'd never really dated anyone of that caliber. You know, most of her guys were fairly, you know, just regular guys who didn't train, you know, 100% at the gym, you know, 5-6 days a week and maybe 1 day a week. So she dated him for about 2 months, and then they broke up. And she turned up at my place one day all in tears, and I said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "Oh, you know what? That guy was worse than any of my girlfriends. You know, he spent more time at the gym than with me. He ate different food to me. He was so, you know, so disconnected from our lifestyle." She realized that she loved his aesthetic beauty, but once she got to know, you know, how he lived his lifestyle, she couldn't cope. It was very, I guess, one-sided. You know, to look that way, you've got to make sacrifices, and sometimes it involves being a loner. You know, you eat separately, you don't eat the same food as people, you train different hours, everything's different.
And so we hit week 6. I promised Shannon week 6 would be the singlet week.
Give us a flex. Have a look at him. The ghost has entered the house.
Oh,
A bit white there, mate.
I am white. I need to start feeling it.
That's all right.
That's all right. We'll get there.
Week 6, beginning of the singlet.
Is this me?
That's you. 4, 20. Oh, come on. Keep going.
Yeah.
Good man. Nice and slow down. Control it. Control it. Control it. And get rid of it.
It's only 6 weeks in, but already there's a noticeable difference in size and strength. And then I got sick. Again.
This TNO Echinacea is good quality.
Echinacea is dirty and disgusting.
No, I like that, bad. Just put it in your mouth, rinse it round, gargle them.
And spit it out?
No, and swallow it.
Oh,
Not that bad.
it does stink. It's wrong. It looks like urine. Look at that.
Yeah.
It looks like you've just peed in a cup and said, "Hey, drink that."
Never heard of man. Now the whole thing, knock it all back.
Oh, more mouth.
No, that's enough. And then the rest, just scull it all now. That's once you've had a bit of contact, you'll know what I'm talking about.
You look good, you feel good, right? Your self-esteem was higher, your motivation was higher. Tell me that's not going to carry over to the rest of your life. That's not going to carry over to work. It's been shown that fit people perform better in the workplace. Tell me that's not going to make you a better employee. Tell me that's not going to lower your healthcare costs.
So I mentioned yesterday that I was feeling a little bit fluey before our training session. It turns out I was right. I woke up this morning feeling pretty rotten. So I didn't go into work, and Shannon's given me some pretty dirty, what are they, herbs? I think they're herbs that I have to have tonight, and I have to have tomorrow as well. But I'm still good enough to go to family dinner, to have dinner with the in-laws. Because that'll make me feel better. It's the first training session today, so we've done 31 out of 32. I think it's the first training session in 7 weeks that I've missed. That's not too bad.
And we're back on track.
You know, bodybuilders can be quite shy, very sort of quiet people, and the fact that they have, you know, big muscles and, you know, walk around looking the way they do is not, it's not having a go at anyone. It's them in their own personality, you know, going, you know, what am I achieving? It's a personal sport. It's not a team sport. They're in the gym trying to beat themselves.
I get to really understand a lot of these people. You know, photography is a very intimate job. You know, it's kind of like being a masseur or like a doctor, where people really confide in you. They open up and tell you their insecurities, and they want you to see their flaws so that you can correct them or cover them up, so to speak. You know, through lighting or makeup or anything like that. You know, be it from a birthmark through to a short leg to a sleepy eye, you know, to a wonky ear. There's so many things that people have as little insecurities. And, you know, they're just physical insecurities, but the more you get to know these people, the more you see that there is a very fragile side to them as well. You know, we're all human. At the end of the day, our shell is just momentary. You know, we're in this lifetime for maybe 80 years, you know, and you have a perfect body for maybe half of that. But, you know, there really is, your spirit never changes. And that's the side I'm fortunate enough to see with a lot of the people I shoot. So, yeah, I see how it affects the way they treat other people, how other people treat them, and it makes me feel fortunate sometimes that, you know, I don't go through those things. But at the same time, it inspires me to, you know, just to keep up my game, so that I'm not, you know, falling too far behind and looking disrespectful, you know.
Mate, what do you think? What do you think of Daddy's beard so far?
Funny.
It's funny?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah, we have a mustache.
I do have a mustache. Do you want me to get rid of it?
Yeah.
You do? Mummy wants me to get rid of it. And my mummy wants me to get rid of it. You think I should?
No.
Could keep it for a while, couldn't I? I could keep it for a while, Leah. No, Mum says get rid of it. You ready? Do you want to help?
Yeah.
Okay.
For years we were together. Time's gone. Seems now forever. We'll pass in the winter. We will fly to different shores. And one day we may notice what all this time was made for.
I get to shave it off. Yes.
I'm in trouble.
I get to shave. Woo! My girlfriend's gonna be so happy.
Hi, mate.
How you going?
You get to kill me tonight.
Yes. 2 more minutes.
I'll let you finish the time.
But instead of giving me the killer superset today, Luke's decided to wait until the final week. Having said that, with 2 weeks to go, it was time to start stripping some fat. And Shannon had a little surprise of his own.
Show us your abs. Yeah, sure. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. If I tense up, it's not good. I've got 2, and then I just got to do this stuff happening.
Okay.
So how do I firm up?
For fight training, it's a lot different to just every day at the gym doing sit-ups, because you can have a great looking six-pack, but if you get kicked and you've got no conditioning, you get winded. So a great thing that I used to usually do at training is we just practice kicks on each other's ribs, so you just get conditioned abs.
Just kick each other in the ribs.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Conditioned?
You kicked like a girl. Yeah. I'm kidding. Before we do the other side, that's a joke. It's truth, man. Okay. Yep.
A girl, hey?
Oh man. So that's for ab work. What about conditioning? Because you're lean as. Well, how do you? What's a good way to get lean? Because obviously I've got to strip a bit of. I mean, I've come a long way in 10 weeks, but
Yeah, you definitely
I've
have.
still got a long way to go at the same time.
Okay. Fight training is very demanding, and the reason why I'd be so lean is just because of the amount of training I do. So, if you like, we can do a round together, just sparring.
Okay.
And usually, when I'm preparing for a fight, say, if we were to do a 5-minute round, I'd do 5 5-minute rounds.
Oh wow.
So you'll see after one 5-minute round that it's very draining.
Yep.
After 5 5-minute rounds, it's super draining. Did you want me to leave my shirt on or take my shirt off? I'll leave mine on.
Something tells me I'm going to regret this. I can never just help.
Come on, Dan, straight into it. Let's go.
Did I win that round?
30 seconds, mate. Not even a round.
And my
Keep going.
sock is falling off. Can I just fix up my sock, please?
Come on, Dan. I think that's it.
One more.
Yep.
So how many minutes was that?
Probably 2, maybe.
2 minutes. You wouldn't see many bodybuilders doing this kind of sport, would you, while they're competing in bodybuilding?
No, definitely not. Because you see a lot in the UFC. To be the best, you don't have to look the best. To have a really high muscle content, you've got to use more oxygen to keep those muscles working.
Oh, wow.
So actually, it can be a disadvantage being big and muscly because you can actually run out of gas earlier.
Yep.
So it's better just to be really lean and really fit.
Okay.
And most of those bodybuilders are just lean and muscly, but they would have no fight fitness.
They wouldn't go 5 rounds?
No, they'd struggle to go 1 5-minute round.
Okay. Oh, good stuff. Thanks again, man. I appreciate it.
No worries. Anytime.
Anytime. Fat chance I won't be back.
5 to 10% of our clientele would be male, and they could be coming in for, skin treatments, waxing, just, tidying up a monobrow to having full microdermabrasion treatments where they're concerned about, maybe acne or aging skin. So they certainly have a broad variety of treatments. There are certainly some men-specific salons, so they obviously are sort of tapping into that side of the market as well. I think it's more accepted, maybe years ago, men wouldn't tell anybody if they ever visited a salon, whereas now they're quite comfortable about, letting their mates know that they might use a special moisturiser or whatever it may be to look after their skin. So it's not, I don't think it's, frowned upon or, any sort of stereotype associated with it, I suppose.
It's week 11. It's time for the wax and tan. So let's talk about the psychology of the sport, because I guess I've never really realised how much of any sport or any game is psychological, but for example, the sleep apnea, when I thought I had sleep apnea, psychologically I'd given up. I was like, this is stupid, why bother with this? Yeah. And then I found out that I didn't have it, and I was pumped and ready again, and nothing had changed except what I'd thought, and my attitude to the gym was completely different.
Psychology affects performance significantly, so much so that a lot of what sports psychologists do is work affirmations and visualizations and positivity and relaxation techniques and these sorts of things in with their the people they work with to get the best they can, and it's been proven through using a variety of these techniques that it does boost sports performance. Yourself, you come into the gym, you're flat, you're tired, you've had a bad day, you've had some bad news, whatever it may be, you don't lift as well, your endurance is poor, your recovery might be a bit ordinary, all of a sudden you find out some good news, you're amped, you've got some good music playing in your ears, you're with a couple of good mates, it's the environment settled, it's good. So yeah, look, psychology is a pivotal part of it, absolutely. Get it? Good luck. Keep going, come on. Let's go. 2, come on. You gotta work. Come on, mate, visualise it. Come on, hop. Squeeze at the top. Squeeze at the top and go all the way down. Up. 6. Come on. Hop. 7. Keep going, keep going, keep going. 8. 2 more. Keep going. Keep going, come on. Good. Good set, mate. Good one. How's that?
Oh, terrible. Absolutely terrible. Oh.
We're trying to drain every last bit of water out of his body, and we're also trying to get the maximal pump that we can, so that when he has his photos taken, he looks good. Hope they're not your best undies.
No, I bought new ones.
Cool.
I actually bought another pair exactly the same.
It's the worst part, Dan.
What is that?
No fun for anyone, mate.
Kind of feels nice. I dirtied my underpants. I wiped my hands on them. And so it is no longer blue. It is now black. I'll do a few more push-ups to get a final pump, and then we're onto the photos.
Imperfection fades away. Emerge the same way. Oh, I wanna grow up. I want to see the kingdom in all its colors. The meaning of pain and the folly of pride. I wish we could see it clear.
But as I pointed out at the start, photos are very easy to mock up. For example, the before photos, I didn't have a tan, I didn't have a wax, and I didn't have a pump. So let's go back to kinetic energy. First thing we have to do is change that photo. 12 weeks ago, my blood pressure was 145/89 and I weighed 83.8 kilos. That changed to 82.6 and a blood pressure of 120/80. Last time I failed the upper body mobility test, this time it was a pass. Now Chris admitted that I had improved in the hip, knee and ankle mobility test, but it still wasn't enough to pass. I continued to pass the inline lunge and continued to fail the straight leg raise. But let's move on to the power. My 57 centimetre vertical jump increased to 58.75. My 1 rep max bench press went up 25 kilograms from 95 to 120. My 1 rep max squat was too dangerous to attempt 3 months ago, but now I can squat 140 kilograms. Muscular endurance bench press went up from 41 reps to 60, and muscular endurance partial curl increased from 47 to 65 repetitions. So far, I was pretty amazed by the results, but there were 2 more stops to go. First, my local GP to analyse the bloods. You've taken my blood pressure, you've looked at my wee, you've pushed on my stomach, you looked at my blood results before and after. How healthy am I?
Just to summarise, you probably couldn't be any healthier physiologically. On clinical examination, you're a fit specimen.
Well, that sounds okay. Run that by me again.
You probably couldn't be any healthier.
So after 3 months of putting my body through such extreme pressure, and 3 months of slurping down shakes and eating a heck of a lot of chicken, my results show that I couldn't be any healthier. I'm happy with that. Now, onto the final destination.
Your before is great. Do you know how many guys would just love to look like that? And your before, right? But what you look like on the right is unbelievable and amazing. And that right there is the true sign that shows people that if you apply yourself to something and you really want it bad enough, you can look amazing. Because you went from great to amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you went what I call it fat to fat. F-A-T, P-H-A-T. Pretty hot and tempting.
One day we may notice what all this time was meant for. Love comes, they say, only one once in a lifetime. Yeah, I don't know, maybe it's twice, maybe even 3 times.